Disney isn't as straightforward as you might think. There's a few mysteries lying underneath everything. It doesn't matter if you're talking about the Pixar universe being tied together, the murder of Debbie Stone, or one of the biggest plot holes in movie history. We'll be covering it all with this list. Coming in at number 10, we have the PIXAR theory. Let's kick off this list with one of the best branches of Disney, and that is PIXAR. A few years ago, a very interesting theory came forward about PIXAR, and it was that all the movies exist in the same universe and on the same timeline. That sounds pretty insane, but they actually put a lot of work into making these string together. There's a website called the PIXAR theory that breaks it down. It needs to be updated to accommodate for some of the newer movies, but what has been laid out so far makes a lot of sense. It starts with Brave. The magic from that movie gives life to superheroes in The Incredibles. The 0-point energy that Syndrome uses eventually leaks out into toys in Toy Story and makes them intelligent and alive. Resentment eventually builds between humans and toys as they are mistreated. At this point, we start to see advanced life in the ocean from people experimenting on fish, thus finding Nemo. The experimentation spreads to rats, in which they become intelligent, and then we get Ratatouille. The toys are planning a war against people, and the BLN company is polluting the earth, so the old man and Up decides to hightail it out of civilization. In hiding, he starts breeding an army of intelligent dogs. This leads to a war between animals and humans. The 0-point energy that got into toys is now in machines, and they get into cars. The machines side with humans and help them win the war, and the BLN company that knocked down the old man's house in Up continues to pollute, now at an even larger scale because machines are sentient. Eventually, the planet is uninhabitable, and we get WALL-E. The plant at the end of WALL-E lays the foundation for a bug's life, and then thousands of years after that, we have a world that is dominated by a new life form, which is monsters. The question would be, how do these new movies fit into this theory, and is this theory true?
Coming in at number 9, we have Debbie Stone. Now, I've talked about the mysterious death of Debbie Stone before, the 18-year-old hostess at Disney for the musical performance America Sings. But today, I'm going to dive deeper into this mystery. So America Sings was a new attraction, one where you would be seated in a theater facing a stage, and after each performance, the theater would rotate. But during one performance, Debbie Stone somehow got trapped between the rotating wall and the stationary stage wall. She was instantly crushed to death. Now, how she got trapped between the walls in the first place is the mystery. Here's where stuff doesn't add up. Her coworker and some audience members said that they heard the screams but thought that it was part of the show. Okay, but the coworker probably saw the show how many times? They would have known that the screams weren't a part of the show. Also, in one report it says that her body was found an hour later. In a different report, it said that she was found directly after the show. So, which one was it? And how come no one investigated right after hearing the screams? One theory, according to a Reddit user that apparently knew a cast member that worked with Debbie, said that she was showing off her new engagement ring. She extended her arm over the safety line of the stage in the rotating seat and got crushed. But why didn't that employee report her death right away then? Another theory is that she was pushed between the walls, but we still don't know 100% for sure what truly happened to her.
Coming in at number 8, we have why does Triton have Poseidon's trident? For this one, we need to dive a little bit into Greek mythology. For those of you who don't know, the king who is Ariel's father in The Little Mermaid is King Triton. Now, in Greek mythology, Triton is the son of Poseidon, and although he possesses great power, he doesn't have quite the power that his daddy does, and he doesn't wield a Triton to control the seas. He actually has a conch horn, which is obviously much less menacing. But in The Little Mermaid, we see Triton ruling the 7 seas with his daddy's weapon, and is quite irresponsible with it when he lets it fall into the hands of Ursula. If we're going to go through the tropes of Greek mythology, it's pretty common for sons to kill fathers or fathers to kill sons. We have Kronos, who was devouring his children, and then he was eventually killed by his son Zeus. So is there a chance that Triton killed his father so he could take his trident and rule the 7 seas?
Moving on to number 7, we have the ghost of Space Mountain. Now, according to multiple Disneyland guests and park employees, Space Mountain is haunted by a male spirit. Who is this man or why he haunts this particular ride is still unknown. Former Disney cast member Marla Whisk believes that the ghost everyone is seeing is that of Mr. Wedway, a man who died while helping to build the ride. But at Disneyland, the ghost is called Mr. One-Way. Apparently he likes to hang out in the Space Mountain line. He's described as a big man with red hair and/or a red face. Others think he manifests himself as a young kid dressed in 70s clothes. When he's the man, he tends to remain silent and he just kind of lurks in line. But when he's the kid, he chats away, oblivious to the modern changes of the world, which shocks the park guests. Other times, people have seen this man fall off the ride. Marla claims that multiple guests have seen this and then freaked out, saying that someone fell off the ride. But no, it's just good old Mr. One-Way. Also, why is his face red? Like, is he just badly sunburnt, or like, is it red? That's what I want to know. That's a mystery.
Coming at number 6, we have Why Did Meg's Boyfriend Leave? One of the cruelest things in the Disney universe is when the Disney princess from Hercules, my favorite Disney movie, gives up her soul to Hades so she can save her boyfriend. This is something she did because she was madly in love. People will do wild things when they're in love with someone. But after this guy is released from the underworld, he walks out on her. What the hell? Excuse me, dude? Someone just sold their soul for you. They put it all on the line. They deserve some of your time. The movie never covers why some dude thinks it's okay to leave her in the dirt. It makes sense why she would double cross Hercules. I wouldn't trust anyone if I got that kind of move pulled on me. Talk about waste man of the week.
We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with The Small World. Okay, for starters, the Small World ride at Disney is terrifying. I don't know how I ever liked that ride, and honestly, a number of people believe that it's cursed. In fact, in 2010, a Disneyland Paris worker died at that ride. Apparently he was cleaning the ride when he fell into the water and got trapped under a boat. He later died in the hospital. But the thing is, that's all the information that was released to the public. We don't know how he fell into the ride or how he managed to get trapped under there. And like, who found him? Because he didn't die on scene. He died later in the hospital, meaning someone would have had to found him within minutes before he drowned. But for starters, he was cleaning when the park was closed. So like, was someone in there with him? If there wasn't anyone in there with them, then how did they even spot him if he was lodged under the boat? Just a lot of things don't add up here, and they never followed up with the story, so we don't know what happened.
Coming in at number 4, we have the Disney Water Park River Country. It's no surprise that the people at Disney are constantly trying to find new theme parks to keep things interesting. I mean, they have California Adventure Park that is a roller coaster with a double loop. I will never forget that ride because I rode it with my mom and she screamed so hard when she was sitting beside me. I couldn't stop laughing. I was laughing so hard to the point where my body was limp and just kind of getting thrown around in the roller coaster. But I doubt any of you out there have been to River Country. This was Disney's attempt at making a massive water park where you could slide down water slides, eat overpriced food, and swim in water that is 97% pee. Even though an aqua-themed Disney park should have been a hit, it was shut down. Now why was that? Most people just think it's because the park simply wasn't making enough money to keep running, but the story on the sly was that there was some sort of bacteria in the water that was toxic and the whole park had to be shut down before they got sued. But you didn't hear that from me.
And at number 3 we have Rebecca Coriam. I've talked about this mysterious case before, it's just that nothing about this case makes sense. So on March 22nd, 2011, 24-year-old worker on the Disney Wonder cruise ship, Rebecca Coriam, disappeared without a trace. No one knows what happened to her. Did she slip and fall off the boat? Or was she murdered and tossed overboard? At 5:45 that morning, CCTV footage caught Rebecca talking on the phone on deck 1. She seemed visibly distressed. That was the last time she was ever seen again. At 9 a.m., Rebecca didn't show up for her shift, and the search was on. Now, here's where it gets really weird. Disney lied to Rebecca's parents about a number of things surrounding the case. For starters, they lied and said that the phone call took place on deck 5. They even cropped the CCTV footage so that it didn't say what deck she was on, but in an unedited version, they saw that it was actually on deck 1. They continued on lying, saying that the wave washed her off of deck 5 that night after the phone call. Again, she was never on deck 5. Then the Disney crew also gave the parents a sandal, which they claimed was Rebecca's. So here's her sandal, she must have fallen overboard. It was both the the wrong size and style of hers. And when the Coast Guards went to scan the ocean to try and see if Rebecca fell overboard, they were told the wrong location to search. So theory goes that Disney knows exactly what happened to Rebecca. Somewhere they have the tape that shows what happened to her. I mean, even a worker said that the ship has a lot of cameras and everything is taped. So where is this tape? And why does Disney not want anyone to know the truth? Sus.
And coming in at the number 2 spot, why did the glass slipper not vanish? This is one of the biggest plot holes in story history, not even just movie history, in any story ever. So in Cinderella, we have our famous princess at the ball with the prince, and we all know the story. She got a wish from their fairy godmother, and she had until midnight to woo the prince. After midnight, the spell was broken, and everything would return back to normal, and it does. Her horses turn back into mice, her dress turns into rags, her chariot turns into a pumpkin. Everything returns to its original unmagical state other than the glass slipper. But why? It doesn't make any sense. The slipper should have transformed all the same. It should have been a stinky wooden clog that the prince would have gotten one of his servants to throw out. Was it only the items that were on her body that would change back? I need answers now. I need them right now.
And in our number 1 spot, we have the hanging. One woman shared her very odd experience she had back in 1999 when she went to Disney with her family. So during her trip, in which she was 12 at the time, her and her family went on the It's a Small World ride. Again, it's cursed. Well, during the ride, it was stopped. The lights turned off, and the moving display with the creepy children stopped operating. Safety lights came on, and Disney employees wearing red overalls came to help everyone evacuate the ride. They said that there was a safety concern. They were then escorted through the emergency exits and were told to remain looking forward and to follow the staff. After being escorted out, they found the ambulance and police in the parking lot. But while this was all going down, her mom was taking photos. And in one image, she caught something very creepy. The mom took a photo of the ceiling by accident, and up hanging from the rafters, we see what appears to be someone hanging. Is it a ghost? Is it a doll that was hanging up there to scare someone? Or is it something more sinister? We may never know. And that's all for today's video. Let's move on to our comment shout out portion. We'll be shouting out comments from the video Top 10 Kids Cartoons We Need to Bring Back Now! Evan Richardson commented, we need Kim Possible back and they need to be a couple in their 20s or so. That would be so cute.
I think
Ron and Kim.
I could go for that. Kim Possible's great. She was always like, yeah, you got the whole thing. Yeah. I remember what this is. She was like, do 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 do. Is that right?
Oh my god, I can't think
What's
of it now.
the noise? You know the noise.
Beep beep beep. That's what it was.
Was it beep beep beep?
Yeah.
So she had her little dude.
What's
she
the
had
stitch?
The dude in the chair is always like.
Oh yeah, I know. And the little naked mole rat. So
yeah,
cute.
That's great. What, Rufus?
Rufus. Yeah. You can read that one. Whitley's Dollhouse commented, we love the show Fillmore, and that takes the cake. You know Fillmore?
Never watched Fillmore.
My god, it is so good. Oh my god.
For me, any show that was just about like, I'm a kid, I was like, get out of here.
It's not just I'm a kid.
Isn't he just
Fillmore and Ingrid, and they like were in a school and they would like basically solve mysteries in the school.
Yeah, but it was still like human stuff. I need like, you gotta be going, it gotta be supernatural, Pokemon robots, something crazy's gotta be going on.
Fillmore was amazing. Anyway.
Paul Benedict wrote in and said, I want Mr. Bean back. He is so funny.
I love Mr. Bean. I never watched the cartoon. I mean the one with Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, the original Mr. Bean is probably some of the best mime work that's ever been done.
He's amazing. He is so funny.
Yeah, very
love
funny
him.
dude. Yeah.
Anyway.
You want to hear a crazy Mr. Bean story? A comic that I know was living in England. He was dating this girl. She was taking Mr. Bean's class, like his acting class. Acting class.
He taught one?
Yeah, he taught. And she started acting weird all of a sudden. She's coming home late and he's like, what's going on? What's going on? Something's going on. He knew something was going on. Eventually cracked the case that she was cheating on him with Mr. Bean.
With Mr. Bean! Oh my god, that's amazing!
And then it got out to the press that Mr. Bean was having an affair of his wife with this girl in his acting class. So he had to see on newspapers all over the city his girlfriend and Mr. Bean that he just found out was cheating on him. It was crazy. Your worst breakup story I've ever heard of in my life. Yeah.
Mr. Bean, getting the ladies.
Yes.
Wow. Anyway, Bean. I love him. Anyway, and that's all the comments we're shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in our next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the most amazing top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan.
I've been Jade Arena.
I'll see you when I see ya.